A good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our friends from across the world, from whichever part of the world you're joining us today. We at Pune Gas welcome you all to this interactive webinar for our new product, which is called Fuel Fusion. Fuel Fusion is a kit, a system which uses dual fuel for your existing diesel fired generators, your backup generators or your power generators, which provide you with backup power in case of electricity loss or no electricity in some areas. Lot of businesses use backup power and generators, and we are bringing this kit which will help businesses save money, consume less diesel, and also cut down on their carbon emissions. So, what exactly is Fuel Fusion? Fuel Fusion is an external kit, is a system that you can see here. It's a panel along with some accessories and components that can be installed to any diesel fired generator. Yes, my friends, you heard me right. We can install the Fuel Fusion dual fuel kit to any diesel fired generator in the world, regardless of the make, regardless of the model, and regardless of where you are in the world. Why did we think of Fuel Fusion? Why did we launch this product? And what was our motive behind coming into this technology and getting it to all our customers across the world? So, specifically from the Indian context, there was a Commission for Air Quality Management, which is also called as CAQM, which gave a direction number 76, dated September 2023. And in that direction document, all the DG sets having more than 19 kilowatt capacity have to be used on dual fuel mode so that the emissions can be reduced. And all the DG sets more than 125 kilowatt need to be used on dual fuel mode or with a retrofitted RECD so that the emissions can be reduced. RECD is basically a retrofit emission control device. It's basically a filtration device which filters the diesel emissions. Fuel fusion is not just a filter, it is not just merely reducing emissions. Fuel fusion is actually a device, a system, a dual fuel system which uses gas along with diesel in a hybrid way that blends fuel to be used in all the DG sets. And then there was another directive from CPCB, which is Central Pollution Control Board in India. It was a compliance report for the emission standards, which were revised in March 2023 for all power generating engines. Now, with all these emission control norms kicking in across the country, we realized if gensets are to be used on dual fuel mode, along with diesel, LPG, or natural gas are the fuels that can reduce emissions, that can control the fuel cost as well, and give the customer, the business, a far more better alternative than just controlling emissions. The alternative in this case, along with your emission control, the business also saves money. And that's the biggest motivating factor for any business. This is the exact reason why we launched the Fuel Fusion. We launched it to ensure that all the businesses around the world not just reduce their carbon emissions, but also save money and cost along with that to help their businesses grow even further. So if you have existing generators, you might all be aware that how existing generators are used. Diesel is simply put into the generator and the engine switches on with the diesel fuel, powers the capacity as per the generator, and gives the required power output. What fuel fusion does is fuel fusion as a system blends diesel as well as gas and injects it into the generator, into the system to produce power using both fuels, diesel as well as gas. Now, when we talk of gas, the fuel fusion system can use LPG, can use PNG, PNG being CNG or PNG, any type of natural gas, as well as it can also use hydrogen. Yes, the system is hydrogen ready and it can also use hydrogen going forward when there is a commercial viability for hydrogen to be used. So LPG, natural gas, and hydrogen, all the three fuels can be used, and the fuel fusion can be configured to use it along with diesel in a dual fuel mode. Please note and remember that the system does not replace diesel completely. It replaces certain part of diesel and it blends along with diesel to power your generator. So it is a hybrid technology that uses two fuels to reduce cost and emissions. Now, what are the components of fuel fusion? Let us understand that the fuel fusion, first and the most important component in the fuel fusion, is the intelligent control system. Now, the intelligent control system precisely blends the gas, whether it's LPG or natural gas or hydrogen, with diesel. It is to be configured according to what fuel the customer is going to use, and it will manage the ratio, the blend ratio in real time to ensure there is consistent performance efficiency for the generator. This is a like an ECU, electronic control unit. It's like a small mini computer inside the panel, which will control the blending of gas with diesel. The second most important thing is the sequential fuel injection. The fuel fusion uses very highly engineered, precise, electronically controlled injectors, which are low pressure for accurate gas injection, so that the dual fuel combustion can be managed and balanced and controlled with sequential fuel injection. It is not something that is going to be controlled mechanically using regulators or a gas train or things like that. It has got very highly engineered, electronically controlled injectors so that the right and exact precise quantity of gas can be injected into the engine in a dual fuel mode. We then have an automated control panel. The control panel is the brain behind the entire system. It monitors and adjusts the system automatically, providing an entire interface for control. So there is a small screen on which you will be able to see and control the entire operation of the fuel fusion. We then have advanced sensors, temperature sensors, exhaust sensors, pressure sensors, lambda sensors. All these different sensors continuously monitor the engine conditions of the generator and ensure the data and the gas temperature and the pressure is communicated to the ECU, is communicated to the panel, so that the entire blending system and the entire dual fuels uh, blending technology can be controlled real time. So we have sensors taking data real time and passing it over to the panel. We then have electronic flow control systems, which are a solenoid valve based flow control. This control basically automates the entire flow of gas so that it can be regulated into the engine again on a real time basis. It is not controlled using any mechanical things, it is controlled using the electronically operated solenoid valves. These are the five main components that make the whole fuel fusion a very unique technology, which make it a very secure, precise, and controlled technology with electronics inbuilt into the system. Now, what are the benefits and features with fuel fusion? How are you going to benefit? There is absolutely no modification which is to be made to the engine of the existing generator. Yes, there are external sensors that has to be uh, installed. I will show them to you, but there is no real modification made to the engine to control the dual fuel supply. Nothing is modified. The engine remains untouched. So all your generators have the same warranty, the same engine, and they work in the same way. You can go from 100% diesel mode to fuel fusion mode very, very easily, simply with just the panel. You switch it on, you will go on fuel fusion mode. You switch it off, it will go on 100% diesel mode. So switching is very easy. Installation time, we need around 2 days to install the entire system with all the sensors and the panels, the gas network. There is a gas infrastructure part of it. You will need, of course, LPG or natural gas also to be uh, brought in till the generators and plugged in. And we only need 2 hours of downtime. So, anyways, the generators are used for backup power, and having downtime is not really a concern. But even with that, we only need 2 hours to configure it, set it, and we are good to go. There is absolutely no derating. So when I spoke to you about the modification, and there is zero modification, in the same way, there is zero derating as well. The generator power rating is unchanged, it doesn't change. The same power output is delivered in fuel fusion mode, even at 110% of the load. When the generator is running over and above 100% load, you can achieve the same with fuel fusion mode as well. The operating pressure required is very, very versatile. LPG is needed at 1.5 bar and PNG is needed at 300 millibar. Even if there is PNG at higher pressure, we can accept it, we can be okay with it. We just need to put a small gas train or a regulator. But the most important thing is there is no requirement or need for an additional gas train. A lot of dual fuel kits which are available, the technology is based on a gas train based technology where the gas train controls the pressure and flow into the generator. With fuel fusion, there is no requirement of an additional gas train at all. If you have this pressure coming into your plant or your factory or your commercial establishment, you can give the exact same pressure for the fuel fusion dual fuel kit. We work with, of course, all the top safety features. We have NOx sensors for the engine, we have exhaust temperature sensors of the gas, we have lambda sensors, and all of these sensors, we have pressure sensors as well. All of these sensors make the system extremely safe because all of these sensors are sensing all the required parameters on a real time basis and communicating it with the automated control panel. As I told you in the start, the FuelFusion has very high compatibility. We can use the system for gensets ranging from 7 kVA to 3000 kVA with both naturally aspirated and turbocharged engines. And the gensets work on 2 to 16 cylinders for various OEMs, whether it's an Indian generator manufacturer, whether it's a American, European, global, any manufacturer manufacturing generators, we can work with any generator and the FuelFusion can be compatible with all generators types. Emission control is something why the FuelFusion is so important for a place like India. Uh, you all must be hearing in the news lately about the emissions and the air pollution control in Delhi and how New Delhi is suffering with the pollution there. So the FuelFusion will help you reduce your carbon emissions by 27%, SOx and NOx emissions up to 62%, and the most important, where every government wants to reduce the particulate matter, PM, the particulate matter emissions will reduce up to 70%. Now, we will explain to you the models of the FuelFusion. What are the different types of models and how they will work with the capacities of different generators. First, we have FuelFusion 4. The FuelFusion 4 is basically for generators that have a 4-cylinder engine configuration. 4-cylinder engines are very commonly used by generators from 50 kVA up to 100 kVA. Now in the table, you will also be able to see what is the diesel requirement at 100% load. For example, for the 50 kVA generator, the diesel requirement on 100% will be 12 liters, and corresponding columns you will be able to see the LPG requirement on dual fuel mode or the PNG requirement on the dual fuel mode in case you're using PNG. Now what this means is, let me explain to you very simply. If there is a 50 kVA generator, currently on 100% load, you will be using 12 liters of diesel per hour. How many ever hours the generator runs, 12 liters per hour will remain constant. If you want to switch from 100% diesel mode onto dual fuel mode, you will need 6 kgs of LPG and the balance 6 liters will remain diesel. So you will replace 6 liters of diesel with 6 kgs of LPG, and that is where the cost saving comes into the picture. Similarly with PNG, you will replace 12 liters of diesel with 8 SCM per hour of natural gas, and the balance 4 liters will remain on diesel mode. So if it is natural gas, you will need 8 SCM natural gas and 4 liters of diesel. That is where the cost saving part comes. Of course, the bigger the generator, the more the cost saving. So the FF4, FuelFusion 4 for 50 kVA up to 100 kVA. Then we have FuelFusion 6, which is used in different gensets ranging from 125 kVA up to 400 kVA. Again, there are corresponding columns which will show you the diesel mode requirement and the requirement if you go for LPG or natural gas. We then have an 8-cylinder model, FuelFusion 8, that can be installed in generators most commonly ranging from 500 kVA to 650 kVA. We then have FF12 or the FuelFusion 12. These are these are usually V12 engines, and these are used most commonly in generators ranging from 500 kVA to 1500 kVA. Again, you see the requirement of diesel. 1000 kVA generators are very, very common, and most customers have a 1000 kVA generator if they have a large factory, if they have a large hotel, a large building. 1000 kVA is a very common generator size. So you can see on diesel mode, it uses 200 liters per hour. And when you replace that with LPG, it will use 105 kgs of LPG per hour and only 95 liters of diesel. And finally, we have the FuelFusion 16. The FuelFusion 16 is a V16 engine wherein we need higher power capacity, and the DGs usually range from 1750 kVA to 2000 kVA and beyond 2000 kVA as well. So you can see if we consider a 2000 kVA diesel generator, the diesel requirement 380 liters per hour. And if you use LPG, 200 kgs per hour and 180 liters of diesel required, that could be such a huge saving of cost, wherein you replace 200 liters of diesel with 200 kgs of LPG, which is a straight 20% cost reduction according to the current price of diesel compared to LPG. We come with, just towards the end of this short webinar and information session for all of you, the advantage of FuelFusion. First and the biggest advantage is fuel cost saving. Yes, there can be up to a 50% saving in the fuel cost over a period of time. There have been cases in which customers have recovered the cost of the ROI of the entire FuelFusion, the gas infrastructure, and the network in less than 6 months. In some cases, 3 to 4 months as well is the ROI on the project. So you're able to reduce your operational fuel expenses by up to 50%. The diesel consumption, of course, reduces by up to 70%, depending on whether you're using the FuelFusion on LPG or on natural gas. So the diesel consumption can reduce up to 70%. And the most important aspect, like I explained to you earlier, carbon emissions will reduce by 27%, SOx and NOx by 60%, and particulate matter by about 70%. That is a huge reduction in your CO2 emissions, and your carbon footprints can substantially reduce by switching over to this amazing technology. We have some photos, a collage of some photos from actual installation that we did few months ago at a very close customer close to us in Hadapsar Industrial Estate, which is called GITS Food Products. I'm sure a lot of you from India know the GITS, famous GITS Gulab Jamun and the famous GITS food products that are available since 50 years or so. And they have, of course, generators at their factory for backup power. There were three generators of 750 kVA which were converted few months ago to do the initial trials and the pilot studies on the fuel fusion. And these are photos of the same. This is the panel, the automated control panel, which is installed and mounted very close to the generator. These are the sequential fuel injection systems that you can see that are installed and very sophisticatedly mounted on the generator and the body of the engine. You can also see the gas supply being connected for the generator. These are the sensors which are installed on the exhaust of the generator, on the exhaust pipes. And wherever the exhaust gases come out, the sensors are installed at that position. Another photo of the sensor, how it is installed here in this case. So these are all photos from trials which have been done in a real case, in real time at a real customer in a place in Pune, wherein the fuel fusion was tested, taken trials on, and successfully proven to be used on dual fuel mode, first on LPG and then on natural gas as well. So with this, I come to the end of the short presentation. Uh, Thanks for your time. Thanks for your attention. These are our contact numbers and email ID. Please feel free to get in touch with us, email us, call us, and let us know if you have any requirement, any help, or any assistance that you may need for fuel fusion. With this, I would like to thank you all again and would like to tell you all that fuel fusion is available for all of you to help you and your businesses and your customers to maximize their profits and maximize their business operations with reducing fuel cost and carbon emissions. So thank you all once again, and we will now take some questions from all of you. So I will just open up the chat box and take questions. Oh, I have been seeing that Akash has already been answering those questions in the chat itself. So yes, propane also can be used. LPG, as you all know, is a mixture of propane and butane. So yes, you can also use pure propane for the fuel fusion. How much diesel could be replaced? I showed you. We will be sharing with you the presentation and the fuel fusion brochure on which you can see how much diesel you can replace for the different generator models, for the different KVAs that are there. So every generator capacity replaces, is used on a different fuel pattern, and the percentage of diesel varies from every generator to generator. So we will be sending you the brochure and you can see how much exact diesel can be replaced for your exact capacity of generator. This system can be used with diesel, LPG, or gas, as I said, and it is not for biofuel or ethanol. It is for diesel and gas. Does this panel work with existing automation of genset? Yes, it can work with the panel of the genset. However, you need to install the fuel fusion panel as well for the fuel fusion to work. Question from Umang, LPG diesel ratio lower versus PNG and diesel. Um, can the LPG usage be increased? Not really. The difference is in the calorific value. Based on the calorific value required for every engine, the ratio of PNG or LPG has to be set, and that will depend on how your engine functions and how your engine is running as well. Akash, feel free to take in any questions that you may have. I'm just going sequence wise according to the
Sure.
questions that have been asked by everyone.
Mhm.
What kind of
Uh,
statutory? Yeah, Akash.
Correct. So,
Yeah, what?
those answers with respect to statutory approvals. So, when it comes as an OEM product, where a genset manufacturing actually installing the system in a factory and supplying, there is a different set of compliance because, like in vehicles, we have BS4, BS6. Even in generator, there is CPCB2, CPCB4. But when it comes to aftermarket installation of dual fuel system, the CAQM has clearly mentioned the compliance part for these kinds of product. If it is a retrofit emission control device, which a lot of participants have been saying RECD, it is basically a filter which traps the particulate matter. So it needs compliance because tomorrow, anybody can just put a filter and say that we are getting compliant to the regulation. But since it being a filter, it has very stringent regulation and needs to be tested. When it comes to dual fuel definitely, as I mentioned also in the chat box, that components need to be certified either by UNECE, that is United Nations European Commission for Environment, or ISO 15500, which is for basically gas application. And that component certification is, it is not required by the government, but the user should ensure that the system is compliant with these rules to ensure safe usage of gas. When it comes to environment compliance by CAQM or CPCB, the entire idea of these agencies is to reduce particulate matter as much as possible. Now, when we talk about any form of gas, whether it can be LPG or CNG or PNG, these are gaseous fuel which does not have any kind of particulate matter with it. But fuels like diesel or petrol definitely have particulate matter. When we install a dual fuel kit to these generators, the moment you have replacement of diesel by say 50% with gas, that is exactly where you are cutting 50% of your particulate matter emission. Because here we are not trapping the system, trapping the particulate matter, we are actually cutting it at source. So that is how this system works. With
Akash,
There
yeah.
was also,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
another question. I'll just filter out the questions and make it easy for you to answer. You don't need to go into the chat box. Whether any OEM acceptance is required for continuation of warranty post modification.
Okay, so it depends upon what kind of a warranty you are having for a DG. To be very, very, very honest, for CPCB4 generators which are manufactured after June 2024, from compliance point of view, you don't need this product. But from cost saving point of view, you definitely need this product. Now, if we go to CPCB2 generators, since they are any which ways older generators, there is no hesitancy from the OEM with respect to whether you can install this or not, because it is a government compliance. In majority of the states in India, now it is mandatory to install either dual fuel system or retrofit emission control device to ensure that you can continue to run the generator. If your older generator, any generator before June 2024, if it is not installed with either of the system, it cannot be officially come into operations. So from the OEM perspective, there should not be any hesitancy. But to give you much more confidence, we are already suppliers to all major generator manufacturers in India, and basically the system that you are getting from an OEM is definitely coming up, obviously with a markup of their own, because it's a branded product. Eventually, the product is designed, developed by the team that is present here. And the most benefit that our users have is, since you are directly now connected with the developers of the technology, we will be able to offer you a better technology at a better price. That's the most, and with all touch points
Right.
across India.
Great. So, Akash, next question is whether unit needs pressurized flow or can be connected. I think we already answered that. Uh, Pressure requirements were mentioned in the presentation, and Akash has also answered that in the chat box. Are you into 100% LPG generator development? Can we expect that? Yes, there is already a 100% LPG generator that we have. However, it is uh, cost the cost of compared to a dual fuel kit or a diesel is much higher based on the capacity. So yes, there is also availability of 100% LPG generators with us currently. Approximate cost, we will share the costing with you over email. We have a standard costing and pricing for the different variants from Fuel Fusion 4, 6, 8, 12, and 16, and we will share that with you. The cost, however, let me just tell you, starts from 2.5 lakh rupees for the Fuel Fusion 4 and goes up to 7,20,000 rupees, Indian rupees for the Fuel Fusion 16. That uh, that includes all the components, the materials, and the entire kit. GST is extra as applicable, and there will also be a additional installation cost based on the requirement of the installation. So that's the approx cost range. Um, Fuel display is only 50% on what was reflected, but how can you say up to 70%? So in certain cases, Manish ji, the replacement of the fuel is 50% in case of LPG, but in certain cases, when you use natural gas, the fuel is replaced by 70% as well. Yes, the presentation, as I said, will be shared with the pricing. The entire presentation will be available uh, on YouTube. The video will be available, and there is a product brochure as well, which all of you will get. Devender ji has a question. Akash, can we use purified biogas? Um, if you can answer that question for Anurag ji.
Hello?
Yeah, Akash.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
there's a quick question. If you can take that, if we can use with biogas.
Absolutely. When we say, if I'm not wrong, when we say purified natural gas, it means biogas. It means cutting down of H2S from that gas in a much purified form. Provided if you have a methane content similar to what basically, if it is a biogas, then yes, you usually, if it is in a purified form, you have the methane content equivalent to what you would have in a CNG. And definitely we can use biogas as a fuel to utilize along with fuel fusion.
So yes, can be used. Next question, Akash. If we are having multiple DG, each DG requires one unit. Yes, that's right, Mr. Prasad. Each DG will require a separate unit of fuel fusion depending on the capacity of the DG.
Yes.
Have you tested on H2? Have you tested on hydrogen? Is
Yes.
the next
So
question.
we have definitely we have done trials on hydrogen on dual fuel. The only thing at this point in India is it is practically not possible to have a commercial product due to constraint with respect to availability of hydrogen. But the fuel injection system that we are using with this, we have our fuel system has been tested on hydrogen, LNG, CNG, CBG, LNG, LPG, and PNG. So yes, the answer to it is yes. This system has been tried and tested on hydrogen, definitely in a lab kind of an environment, not on a commercial field environment. But yes, it has been done.
Thanks. Next question, Akash, is we answered about the compliance of this product already. Tim, our friend from Kenya, asks, do you have OEM approvals for this? I think we also answered that, Tim. Yes, we do have OEM approvals for this and specific OEM approvals uh, from various manufacturers are available because we are supplying to the major OEMs in India as well. Akash, would you like to add anything to the question about on OEM approvals? Or we can take the next
Uh,
question.
we can take, but let me be very honest. See, to give you the background from where this technology has been installed over 1,500 generators across India. And through Pune Gas network and many other intermediary, especially when this whole regulation came in. I am repetitively saying that when it comes to OEM approval, if it is a new generator, then definitely you need to go to OEM and see if they are willing to give you the required warranty extension since you are adding an add-on kit. But when it comes to CPCB2 generator, whether there are two answers to this. One is the warranty is not a concern because that warranty is usually a 1 year period warranty, and after that, anyways, you go to AMC, like a very basic annual maintenance contract. And even if your OEM hesitates to allow you to use such a system, the only answer to this is you'll have to shut your generators in India because now it is a compliance-based rule where government encourages you to adopt either of the system. Either can be an emission control device or a dual fuel. The only benefit, which is rather the most important benefit with dual fuel, is one is the cost of dual fuel system. As Mr. Jaisal rightly mentioned, he already gave you a ballpark figure which says 2.5 lakhs to 7.2 lakhs, if I'm not wrong, plus tax for the entire range. Definitely, you can have a word with Pune Gas team on specific generator requirements, but that is what the range is. And this is a product which gives you an ROI and ensures that the invested amount is recovered within few hundred hours of operation, depending on the size of the DG. Whereas
Yes.
you compare with another emission control devices where there is no ROI, the only thing that is happening is you are trapping, which is definitely a good thing that you are reducing your PM emission, but there is no commercial benefit to the user. And there is always a challenge of back pressure, which may occur if there is huge accumulation of particulate matter and if it is not cleaned the way it needs to be or service the way it should be, there can be a back pressure issue for the generator, which will never happen with the dual fuel system.
Yes, I think you answered a few questions there. There was a question on the impact of capex and opex. I think you have also answered that question in that answer, and I think we also spoke about the different cost saving on the operational cost. There will be a slight capex that you will have to incur to put the kit, but there will be much more bigger cost savings in operational expenses over a period of time. We answered about the cost. Any change in load capacity of the generator? No, I think we already mentioned that in the presentation. There is no change in the load capacity of the generator. It remains the same. The capacity remains the same, even if you switch to FuelFusion and dual fuel kit as well. Yes, it complies with the norms of CPCB. You can replace the RECD with the dual fuel kit. You do not need an RECD if you install a dual fuel kit. That will take care of your compliance as well. Uh, we have Suyash Shinde asks, Akash, we have installed automation interlocks with existing MSE DCL breaker and DG breaker. Does it work with your panel too?
Not with our panel. It is a completely independent system. Our
Yes.
panel, yes. So there cannot be an integration between our panel versus along with the existing MSC DCL breaker. But the system can works independent in its nature. So there is no way that any integration is required. One confidence I wanted to give to all the participants, that the beauty of the system is where it allows you to run the diesel generator on a replacement ratios of 50 to 70%, assuming that since any product can fail at any time due to whatsoever technical reason, or there can be a situation where there is unavailability of gas, maybe due to issue in the pipeline or LPG being not, or for whatsoever reason, the system will automatically, in any circumstances where our system for whatsoever reason does not work the way it should work, or there is unavailability of gas, the system automatically shifts to 100% diesel operation without even a single second of breakdown. And it will ensure that the DG continues to run on 100% diesel unless and until the existing issue has been taken care of, which is not possible with a DG which is powered by 100% LPG or 100% PNG, because in case there is any issue, then the breakdown is sure, and you will have to actually wait unless and until it gets resolved. But here, since the our dual fuel system works independent in its nature, uh, even if there is any breakdown, you are always sure that the generator will run on 100% diesel without any issue in the operation. It will continue to run the way it was running even before installing the dual fuel system.
Right. Akash, interesting question. I will take the next one. RECD prices are much lower than dual fuel mode. Then why we install the same as per overall costing? So Raviji, if you look at the RECD price versus dual fuel mode, RECD does not give you any fuel cost reduction. It does not give you any cost saving. RECD is a mere component equipment that has to be installed to control and reduce carbon emissions, PM emissions, and exhaust emissions. RECD does not give you any saving, any cost saving. Dual fuel kit gives you cost savings. So with dual fuel kit, you're killing two birds in one arrow. You are also reducing your emissions and you're also reducing your cost of fuel. But in RECD, you are not reducing your cost of fuel, you are only controlling your emissions, that too for compliance purpose. If you really want to save cost and not worry about the compliance, dual fuel mode is the way to go, because you will not just save cost, but you will also reduce your emissions and also comply as well. So
Right.
that's the answer to that. Akash, next question for you. I'll let you take the next question. After installation of Fuel Fusion, what is the next step to inform MPCB or a pollution control board in that case?
So basically, it works the other way. A small light sentence, unless and until the police doesn't come, the thief is not scared. It's that kind of a situation. There is no mechanism where you actually go and inform MPCB, obviously, provided you come into the industrial category where you have MPCB audits. Basically, you have to inform and submit reports to MPCB. In that case, you have to do a stack emission test, and you have to submit to MPCB that you have complied to the regulation by installing dual fuel system. But for mass users, basically, where there is no specific MPCB compliance or auditing happening for those companies, you definitely need to install the dual fuel system. In case you have not installed dual fuel system or RECD and MPCB comes to you, you are in for a penalty. But but in those situations, if you have already these systems installed and MPCB reach out to you for any audit or to check whether you've complied, at that case or in those scenarios, you have to show it to them that the system is running on dual fuel mode, and that is how the compliance part gets taken care of.
Absolutely. Next question, Mr. Praveen ji from Panchil, I guess, asks, his old diesel generator can be converted to 100% LPG PNG, or will it always have 70/30 ratio? And how does it affect the efficiency?
Sure. So, to be very honest, we have a product for 100% CNG or 100% LPG, but those are very OEM centric, where the generator manufacturer actually gives you a gas DG with our system installed into it. When it comes to retrofitment, despite being our product of 100% gas, we strongly discourage that idea of modifying the existing diesel generator to a 100% gas generator, because that activity requires a complete overhaul in your engine, needs to change it needs to be converted from compression ignition to spark ignition, and it's a big activity. And eventually, when the cost of conversion comes into picture, this whole project becomes unviable. Cannot commercially justify the activity. When it comes to dual fuel, the cost of system is significantly lower. There is no modification in the engine, and despite being partially replaced by gas, you still have an ROI which where you, if my memory serves me well, if you have a say 500 kVA DG set, offer you, considering the range that has been shared with the participant, your ROI would come anywhere between 180 to 225 or 250 hours of operation. So by this, when I say for a 500 kVA, if you use the generator for average, say 220 hours, in after 221st hour, your return, you have come to a break-even point, and your actual profit starts from
Saving will
221st
starts.
hour.
Yes. Yes.
Saving will.
Yes. So efficiency, next
That is
question is efficiency of 100% will be similar. Yes, the efficiency of a generator will not change. It will remain the same. Your fuel efficiency will increase. The output efficiency from the generator will be at par with a pure diesel generator when you use it in fuel fusion mode. So old generators can be converted uh,
just
to 70/30. We cannot completely convert to 100% mode. It's a dual fuel kit. We are not changing the engine. If we have to convert to 100%, that will mean we have to convert the entire engine. We have to change the combustion system in the engine, which we are not doing in this case. Um, we answered about biofuel. No, ethanol we cannot
I
use.
can see
Yeah,
very interesting questions which just came up. One from Catherine and one from Suesh.
yeah.
So,
We'll go
uh,
according to
so
the list.
yes,
Akash, we'll just go according to the list.
please,
I'm
please,
just
yes.
skimming through quickly according to the list of
Sure.
so that we can, we don't miss out any question from all our excited participants. Pratik Patel, sir, from Ahmedabad, our partner there, he asks LPG consumption in if DG set runs for 24 hours, will it be cheaper to run on dual fuel mode? Yes, it will be cheaper to run on dual fuel mode compared to pure 100% diesel mode because you will be replacing a lot of diesel with LPG. And as you all know, that the cost difference between LPG and diesel is approximately 20 rupees currently. 1 liter of diesel is 100 rupees approximately, and 1 kg of LPG is 80 rupees as per the market price currently. So it will save cost in that aspect. Yes, Vindhya ji, you can use LOT cylinders with this for this technology. Uh, yes, Subhash ji, we have taken trials on dual fuel mode, but not on 90% load. As we mentioned that the ratio of blending is with PNG is close to 70/30.
Mhm.
Yes, we will be sharing
There
the
is
details. Yeah, yeah, Akash, please add on. Yeah.
Sorry, sorry. I understand his question. I understand his question. So he mean to say whether the dual fuel system has been tried on 90% load of the DG set. So let me assure you, our system
Okay.
has been tried and tested on even on 110% of load on DG set, and it is and those trials have been as high as 1100 hours of continuous operations where the system has been stopped only to change the diesel, basically, top up the fuel tank. But the system starts from 5% load to 110% load. Zero derating, uh, no, the exhaust gas temperatures remain within the permissible limit of the DG set, and you have replacement ratios significantly, on all the loads. So there is no impact on replacement or operation of DG set even on 90% load, 95, 100, 110% load. So uh, that is the answer
Great.
to it.
Akash, next question. LPG has a higher calorific value compared to PNG, hence shouldn't the savings for LPG be more than PNG?
Yes, the question that has come is correct. That's why if you can see my response also when we talk about the replacement ratios, what happens is when you have LPG in the picture, you can achieve replacement ratio of as high as 55% across on all loads. Because the moment your LPG replacement ratio reaches 55%, the engine gets enough fuel to achieve the same combustion which it was doing on that amount of diesel. Now, when it comes to pipe natural gas, your since the calorific value is lower than LPG, you can inject more pipe natural gas and have significant replacement ratios with respect to diesel. Now, when it comes to saving, whether you will have a better saving on LPG or PNG, it completely depends on the price at which that LPG and PNG is being sold in any respective area. But yes, you need less LPG to achieve the same amount of power which as against compared to pipe natural gas. That is absolutely correct.
Great clarification, Akash. Next question, after installing the system, should we do the maintenance? Yes, of course, you have to maintain the system according to what you're doing in a normal case. There is no change that you need to do. You need to still maintain your engine and your generator. If LPG supply is stopped, DG will run on 100% diesel. Yes, Dastagir ji, this is also answered by Akash. It will run on 100% diesel if there is any issues or supplies in the gas pipeline or in the gas supply. Um, can we run diesel DG on 100% PNG? Sir, this question is already answered. We cannot. We have to use it on dual fuel mode only. Raju ji asked, can we buy new DG pre-installed with hybrid or dual fuel kit? Yes, there are options available with leading generator manufacturers that you can buy a dual fuel kit along with a new DG. A lot of new generator manufacturers, a lot of manufacturers who are selling new generators, sorry, are giving the option to customers to buy a pre-fitted and pre-installed dual fuel kit along with the generator as well. Um, Next question from Catherine, since the kit allows DG to run on LPG, PNG, hydrogen, does one need to choose the gas? And can it be used as it's permanent? Or can I run my DG on LPG and then convert from to PNG tomorrow? So, Akash, I think you were asking about this, mentioning about this
Very
question.
interesting question. Which because a lot of people get this thought because gas infrastructure keeps evolving, and there was a period when certain areas had LPG, they got transformed to PNG and maybe the gas of the future. When it comes to our system, let me assure you, and this is very exciting because it our system allows you to run the DG on from the component point of view, LPG, PNG, CNG, and CBG. If these four fuels are, or biogas, if these four fuels are used, our component remains the same. Only the calibration of the ECU will change, which will not have any material impact on buying any additional component or replacing them. So today, if I have to give you an example, if you have LPG currently available, you install the system, run it on LPG as long as you don't have any other fuel available. For the foreseeable future, in fact, if there is a situation where PNG becomes cheaper and you have PNG availability and you want to change the system from LPG to dual fuel diesel plus PNG, yes, you don't have to change any components. You will use the same components. The BOM remains same. Only our engineers will have to recalibrate the ECU to make sure that you have enough amount of gas meeting the calorific value requirement for the same amount of energy to be generated in the combustion chamber. And based on that, our ECU will be calibrated and the system will continue to run on diesel plus PNG also. So yes, component change is not there. You can use the system for all types of gases. When it comes to LNG and hydrogen, definitely the nature of the gas, the pressure of the gas is completely different. In those cases, again, your fuel injection system remains same. the only piping, the way gas is being transported to the engine, that changes.
The delivery of the gas needs to be ensured, and that will change. So yes, Catherine, to answer your question,
Yes.
you can use the same system and the kit of fuel fusion, and you can switch it over from LPG to PNG anytime with a small ECU calibration that has to be done remotely by our team. It's a software, and we will ensure that with using the software, the ECU will be calibrated and changed from LPG to PNG. I think last few questions. Suyash Shinde ji asks, during the startup, which fuel is consumed by the DG, LPG plus diesel or only diesel? And after when will the DG go to dual fuel mode? Akash, I'll let you take this.
Yes. To all the participants, under whatsoever circumstances, diesel always remains the primary fuel. Gas can never be a primary fuel because you are not converting compressed ignition engine to spark ignition engine. If it is a spark ignition engine, your gas will always be a first fuel and definitely not run on diesel. It will run on petrol. But for a diesel powered engine, since it is a compressed ignition engine, the first fuel entering the combustion chamber will always be diesel. Now, when do you switch basically from diesel to dual fuel? We have some advanced algorithms to our ECU, which basically calculates all the values of operation of DG set on diesel and feeds the ECU with all the input data. Based on that, when the DG started and the algorithm identifies that the parameters such as your coolant temperature, exhaust gas, engine knocking, air fuel ratio, all these and many other parameters are in line with how it is operating on diesel. At that particular moment, it will shift from diesel to dual fuel. If I have to give you in a layman's period how much time it requires to do all this whole process, is usually takes around 45 to 60 seconds. The moment your DG starts, within 45 to 60 seconds, your DG shifts from diesel to dual fuel. In terms of operation, yes. And from then your DG, if it is starting on say 5% load, and there is a fluctuating load, like the DG is going from 5% to 50%, 50% to 80%, 80% to 25, there will be no impact on operations of dual fuel. It will continue to run on dual fuel under whatsoever circumstance.
Great. Thanks for that informative answer, Akash. Subhashji, yes, we will share case studies like I shared on the presentation. We will share more details as we go along. Gauravji, yes, pricing in Kanpur, UP, 97 rupees per kg of LPG. Yes, that would basically include GST as well. I was talking about the basic price of LPG, which I think in uh, Pune, Maharashtra is close to 80 to 82 rupees. It can, like Akash said, depending on where you are in India and the world, will always depend on your geographical location of the price of LPG or natural gas that is there in that region. We will provide, yes, the contact numbers of Akash and all our team members relevant to answer all your queries later on. Have you done testing on emission on 1000 kVA DG and where and how? Yes, we have done testing on all capacities of DGs. Akash, if you want to give some examples
Yes.
in short and take that.
So there is this concept of stack emission where when you do a stack emission for DG set, it basically gives you the figures is of what kind of HC, CO, NOx, particulate matter, all those kinds of emissions are happening from your DG. So if I have to, uh, I can actually try to see if I can share my screen. Can I share my screen if that works with you?
Yeah, sure.
Just a second.
I think you're a panelist, so you will be able to share your screen. You can open it up. While you share your screen, I will take the last question that's there on the chat from Dastagir in Hyderabad. Yes, Dastagir, we've answered this question. If you have a dual fuel system in a new DG, you have to liaise and inform and get in touch with your OEM of the DG, with the DG manufacturer about the warranty and speak to him on that. Old DGs do not need any uh, different details for the warranty. They will have the same, warranty will be there for CPCB2 generators.